I've learned a lot about myself the last few weeks in regards to how I choose to process information from people that I'm close to, and also about boundaries, personal boundaries when it comes to intimate connection with people, and what I'm available for. And I've also learned that due to the nature of who I am and my mirrors being other people, especially in intimate connection, I've learned about the nature of how non-verbal cues and communication with intimate partners is so important, because often with the conversations we have with each other via text messages and via technology, voicemails, we can lose the ability to actually be able to see those, and be able to subconsciously understand the non-verbal cues, which can give us a clearer picture about someone's um, use of language and what they mean. Because I found that there's a lot of confusion around connection and communication with my intimate partner, or my former intimate partner, um, due to the nature of what she was hearing from me, and what she was hearing was passing through her filters and her wounds. And when that happened, what I was saying to her wasn't landing, and what she was hearing and feeding back to me was not what I was saying. And then therefore there was this communication breakdown, and I was like, hang on a minute, I didn't say that at all. But that's what she heard, because it passed through her filters and her wounds. Whereas if I was in direct contact with her, looking at her face to face, then the non-verbal cues and the non-verbal communication could pick up those subtle, in my experience, could pick up those subtle differences. And maybe perhaps what I said to her could have landed in a way that made her understand where I was coming from, rather than a place of her projecting onto me what she was experiencing and what she was hearing, as my information, what I shared with her, passed through her wounds and through her filters, because it triggered her in what I was telling her, what I was experiencing. But also what she was asking of me was um, a direct experience and a direct result and a response to what I was saying, and how I chose to act in my connection to this individual, my former lover. And I could see that where I was coming from was clear, open, authentic, and honest. And it was transparent. I was completely, the way that we operate as well, the way that her and I operate. And you could say, I could ask the question in regards to myself. The way I operate with regards to lovers in my life now is that when I connect with somebody, I'm with them 110%, right? So when I'm with them, I'm 110% with them. But when I'm not with them, because I'm not really open to a long-term companionship or relationship, I'm traveling too much. I'm too transient. And also this lover that I used to have is so transient. She's moving from place to place over and over again. She's basically 5 months of the year she's moving, and for the other 7 months of the year she's moving again, and domestically around the country. So she's 5 months of the year overseas and 7 months of the year moving domestically around the country. And there's no real spaciousness for us to connect in a way that would be deeper in regards to a committed relationship, not open, a committed relationship, because this is no point, because we wouldn't spend much time together. We'd probably spend maybe realistically a few weeks together in a year, which could work for some people, but for some people who want more, it's just not going to work, right? So there is that place in our lives where we came to that realization that as lovers, and that's all we could give each other in that sense, was that in that position where we found ourselves, there had to be deep and clear and open communication around what we were available for and how we chose to connect with each other. See, for me, like I said before, I'm completely 110% present with my lover when I'm with her. When I'm not, I'm off doing my things and doing whatever I need to do, and my focus and the energy is elsewhere. It's not with her. And I understand the nature of a woman needing more emotional connection and also connectivity in a way that allows them to feel safe and feel heard and secure in their connection, even as a lover. But for me, in that as well, there's a level of codependency, and there's also a level of neediness that I cannot step into. Because for me, I don't have that codependency, that neediness around connection in that way. Because when I'm actually connecting with a woman in a sexual way, in an intimate way, I have this ability, for me anyway, I have this ability to feel so deeply entangled in my connection with that woman, that when I leave her and I go off to do my own thing and live my own life and do my things that I need to do in regards to how I live my life, and there is plethora of circumstances and situations that I have to deal with in my life, even in spaciousness and expansiveness when I'm not working. There is lots of things I need to do and choose to do in my life. I still feel feel them energetically and emotionally, physically with me, because the involvement I have with them in a sexual connection is so deep and so profound for me, so engaging for me and entangled for me. When I leave them, I'm still with them and they're still with me, 110%. I can still feel them. I can feel them in my essence, I can feel them in my body, my mind, my spirit. And it's a good place for me to be, because in that connection, I can send my love to them easily, and it travels across the distance, the imaginary distance between us, and I would like to feel and believe, if they're open to receive it, what I'm sharing, they can pick up on instantaneously, because I can feel that energy. I can express it from here, even though they might be, 3 or 4 hours away or a day away, travel from me. If I'm traveling away from them, or they're away from me. But what I learned about myself in the last relationship I had, or connection I had, was how much over the years of me putting this into practice, how strong I was in regards to my boundaries and what I'm available for and what I will not tolerate in regards to connection and relationship. I feel like I'm almost on repeat here, because I might have said this before in other videos, but I'm not available for being gaslit. And in the law, and I'm not available. I would never tolerate myself gaslighting somebody else, or I do not tolerate someone gaslighting me. That's just not, I'm not available for that experience. If someone projects onto me their wounds or their traumas, and they're not able to be aware of it, then I need to call them on it right away and say to them, hey, listen, there's work here to be done. Do you want to do the work with me? Do you want to step into the space of empowerment and work with me? Or you can say, our connection is over, because I'm not available for this experience with you. I'm not a doormat that you can walk over. I'm not someone who you can manipulate emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually to feel safe. In order to feel safe, it's not who I am. It's not what I'm available for. So if you want to manipulate me in any way to make yourself feel safe, it's just not going to happen. I won't put up with it. Or nor will I put up with myself doing that to you. I don't. I don't do that. There's a bridge. I consider this a bridge, a connection between a man and a woman, man and a man, woman and a woman, and a romantic, intimate connection. There's a bridge. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the middle of the bridge. And if we choose to meet in the middle of the bridge and we talk about what we both want, what we both need, then we can find a place where we can actually have our needs and our wants and our desires and everything met. And we can also have a space to grow and heal, and to actually work through our stuff together, work through our traumas and our triggers and our wounds together. This is a beautiful experience, a magnificent experience. But my boundaries are strong enough in my life now to know that if I don't have that in my life, if I don't have that feeling like, it doesn't matter how good the sex is. In my last lover I had, sex was fucking incredible, because the nature of how deep I felt in regards to connecting with her, how much I loved her and adored her, and how reverent I was for her, because how my heart could open up so much more due to the nature of the work that I've done, and how safe I felt in that connection. The big thing, how safe I felt in that connection, right? But then I began to feel unsafe because of the nature of the projection, and feel unsafe due to the nature of the gaslighting that was taking place and the level of manipulation that was taking place. That was enough for me to be able to be completely self-aware that it's just not an experience I want to have. I don't want to be in this situation. I don't want to have this experience with anybody, nor would I put someone else through this experience. That was it. I was done. Hard boundary, we're done. Thank you very much. And that's enough for me. And I feel quite empowered in myself to know that I've stepped into that power, into that place of like knowing that, hey, this is what I'm available for. And this is what I'm experiencing. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I'm still working through so much of my own traumas, my own wounds around many things. But I don't have a wound around abandonment anymore. I used to have a massive wound around abandonment, like huge. And that really dictated a lot of my experiences in regards to how I sabotaged my relationships with these beautiful women over the years. Because for me, there was hurt coming down the line because they were going to abandon me, like I had when I was a child. My childhood abandonment issues. So I had this like realization that at some point when it was getting really, really good, it was going to get really, really bad when they were going to abandon me. So I would sabotage my relationships. But not anymore. I'm not that guy anymore. I don't see that being the case at all. And I don't mean that I won't commit to a relationship. It's not that at all. I'm wanting to commit to a relationship if I have the time and the energy and the desire to commit to the relationship. I've got no fear around committing to relationships. I have no fear around relationships in general, but I do know what I'm available for. I do know what I will share, and I feel and believe it in my sense of self-awareness that I'm able to give so much in my relationships for people, family, friends, lovers, or companions if I had a long-term companion. But my life is so transient. And seeing that my life is so transient, I'm open to connection with women in a way that allows me to create friendships. It's very, very rare that I'll go to a place where I'm intimate with a woman in a sexual sense these days because I don't have the energy or time for it. But also when I feel into connection with women, it does feel like more and more for me that these connections are all based upon friendship, reverence, trust, and surrender to what is. But also when I get past the biological and the hormonal chemical dances of attraction, when I feel deeper into the connection, what I feel is a sense of like, yeah, it feels good to be here in this place of deep trust, surrender, and peace, connection and availability for friendship. But I feel from here, in that position where I am, when I'm feeling this way, there's nothing more for me to give. I don't have the energy to give anymore from the position that I stand, and that feels really nurturing to me, and it's my own sense of self-nurturing. I'm nurturing myself to a place where I realize that I have everything that I could possibly want in regards to connection to all that is and all that ever has been and ever will be, because that's what I really am. That's what we all really are. And these personas, these masks, these attitudes, these patterns, these sum total of our experiences is just an illusory dance, an illusory visage that we carry with ourselves, and we put on different personas to deal with different people. It's something you might have also understood and know for yourself. You deal with certain people in certain ways. You put on certain masks to be able to deal with certain situations. And for me, coming to that place of deep awareness within myself, that stillness, when I move from there, that's the place I want to move from in regards to my intimate connections. That place of deep awareness and connection. All that shit just blows away. It's no longer there, and all I feel is this fucking deep connective love and reverence for the woman that I'm connecting with. Trust and surrender, attentiveness, and most importantly, for me anyway, safety. And then that whole wound about abandonment is gone because I'm able to enjoy the presence of the moment. And I realize that's all there is. Everything else is the illusion, the fantasy, the imagination tied up to the experience. Oh, if I connect with this woman and be with this woman for the rest of my life, all my shitty fucking moments, as they say, all my shitty moments will be gone. And this I'll ride this wave of perfection. No, not at all. Not the case at all. There's so much work to be done in regards to connection and a companionship. And that's the nature of the situation. As Baba Ram Das says once famously in a talk, your marriage is your sadhana. And that's what it is. It's the work of being with somebody is just the work. Do I have a space in my life to have that kind of deep connection and work? Most definitely not right now. But can I have it in the moments that I share with my lovers? Most definitely. And that's the most important thing for me. It's the presence. It's the moment. Because in that moment, and there is only that moment, everything else, the now, everything else is a fucking illusion. It's an illusion. The past is an illusion. It's a memory, really. And so is the future. The future is something that hasn't happened yet. We cling to these things, the past and the future, we then lose the ability to be present with each other. And then when that presence, in my experience, as soon as you have that triggering, as soon as you have that moment that your wounding or your wound or your trauma is brought up to the surface, that's a great opportunity. A wonderful opportunity to be able to communicate and talk to each other and find a way, if you choose to move through that wound, to move through that situation and come out the backside of it with a deeper understanding and connectivity with each other. And unfortunately for me, in my last connection, I didn't have that. But I would love to have had that. And let's see what happens next. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it. Mate wa. I'll see you again soon.